Oh, it's tough to follow Roe, but I've worked at Equality Florida for 21 years now, and I've gotten used to following strong women. Some of you have asked where Nadine Smith is tonight. Let me be the first to assure you she has not moved to Canada. Far from it. She is absolutely with us. Actually, very fittingly, Nadine is a budding acting career, and tonight she is starring in the Shakespearean play A Midsummer Night's Dream, where, you guessed it, she plays the Queen of the Fairies, Tatiana. Rose said this has been a little bit of a roller coaster this last week, and it's a roller coaster we're still riding right now. They are still counting ballots, and we don't know exactly how every race is going to end. I do want to say, if you're a lawyer in the room tonight and you're interested in volunteering, Joanna Goodwin, if you'll stand up in the back, is organizing right where the light is. She's organizing a posse of lawyers to go out tonight. It is continuing into the night. And there have been some really tough emotional losses or close races that we're still not certain where it's all going to end. But we cannot let that obscure the tremendous victories that we experienced here in Florida and all across this country on election night. When I think about what it was like when we formed this organization in 1997, the year that Florida passed its Defense of Marriage Act in the State House of Representatives by a margin of 107 to 13, that's how few friends we had back then. This year on Election Day, of the 111 candidates that Equality Florida Action PAC endorsed statewide, 74% of them were elected to office. 74%. And one of the tales of this election that you're going to see is that the enthusiasm for pro-equality champion Andrew Gillum really did lift boats all across our state. And we saw big swings towards equality majorities. Orange County is now a solid pro-equality majority county. Hillsborough County, solid pro-equality majority. We elected so many firsts. First lesbian mayor of a major city in Florida, Terry Johnston in Key West. First lesbian elected to the state legislature, and that was a swing seat that we worked hard on. Jennifer Webb's victory is a big victory. It's a harbinger. We're a nonpartisan organization. Our goal is not simply to make the whole country blue. Our goal is to turn this into a world where we are winning in Florida and we are breaking through in the South, and where we can build bipartisan coalitions of people who believe in human rights. The margin in the state Senate is now 17 to 23, the closest it's been since we formed. But among our Republican legislators, we have close to 30 co-sponsors of our non-discrimination bill. Unprecedented in the country. Unprecedented in the country. And those folks are glad to see the Democrats get a little closer in Tallahassee, because they have a voice within their party. And they want to see us win, and they want to be a part of this historic victory. And we've never been better positioned as we head back to Tallahassee with 3 openly LGBT state legislators. Chevron Jones here in Broward County, Jennifer Webb, and one of our very top priorities in the election season this year, Equality Florida staff member and super awesome queer, Latinx, progressive feminist Carlos Guillermo Smith, who is with us tonight. For us, school districts are also critical to our fight. And we are so thrilled to have one of our heroes, Superintendent Runcie, in the room with us tonight, in one of the best school districts in the country for protecting LGBTQ youth. Thank you, Superintendent. Broward has set a standard that we are working to share with the rest of the state, and we elected our first LGBT school board member in the history of Florida. In little, somewhat conservative Polk County, Sarah Fortney was elected on election night, another one of our priorities. Let me just mention quickly the elected leaders who we have in the room tonight, because it means so much to have champions. From Oakland Park, we have our mayor, Tim Lonigan, along with Commissioner Matt Sparks. and I think John Edornato may be in the room. If you're in the room, shout out, John. From the entirely LGBTQ County Commission of Wilton Manors, only the second city in the country to achieve that feat, we have Commissioner Julie Carson, Commissioner Paul Rowley, and Mayor Justin Flippen is with us tonight. Visiting all the way from Miami Beach, we have another LGBT elected official and hero, Michael Gongora, is with us tonight. From Davie, we have Carol Patton is with us tonight. Here in Fort Lauderdale, we made a little history this year. Ben Sorensen is with us tonight, who's been a hero. Steve Glassman, an LGBT commissioner, is here. And of course, Dean Trentalis is here with us tonight. So when you think about this rainbow wave and all the LGBT candidates that we elected, that rainbow wave also includes historic numbers of people of color and young people and women. And one of the keys right now is that the folks we're electing are not just there to fill a seat, they are there to fight. And one of the races we prioritized a year out was a race for House District 47, where we had a really superpower progressive candidate. And if you could pull up the Time magazine photo from the back. Many of you all may remember this photo, right? Well, one of the people on that Time magazine front page was running for state representative, ran one of the fiercest campaigns that we have ever seen. I'm not even going to guess at your age, but you're too young. 28 years old, raised close to $400,000 in what is a swing district that progressives had not held in some time. And we just want you to hear a word or two from our young, new, Iranian-American, feminist, LGBT accomplice, Anna Eskamani.
When I look around this room, I mean, this is a intergenerational space. We know there are folks in here who have been fighting the good fight for decades, and I want you to know that we got your back. And we're bringing this fire to Tallahassee, and we're going to hold our opposition accountable, especially to the Competitive Workforce Act, so we can finally ban discrimination in this state against those who choose to be their authentic selves, and we can ban conversion therapy and do our part to make sure that every person in this great state can be their authentic selves. And so thank you for contributing to an organization that does so much good in our state and bringing us together and reminding us that we are stronger together. And as your newest elected representative for House District 47, I invite you to come to Tallahassee, join Equality Florida for those trips. We need you up there this session. No matter what happens with these elections, we need you in Tallahassee. Thanks, y'all.
We got some powerful advocates, folks. Some powerful advocates. Some of you have asked me over the years where I get my advocacy, and since we're talking so much about family, I'll let you know I come from a long line of crazy liberals in a little town in South Carolina. And my mother was out there, who is in her 70s, I won't say where in her 70s, but she was out there walking dirt roads this entire election season, and they flipped a congressional district in South Carolina this year. So shout out to you, Mom, who's with us tonight, and my husband and son. We got 3 generations in the house tonight. Ben was out there walking with our South Florida candidates, too. So I want to end here, though, because elections are important, but they're not the most important thing. The most important thing is how we shift the culture. The most important thing is how we end bias and bigotry. It's the only way we're ever going to get to the holy grail of this work, which is family acceptance, which means that when an LGBT child is born into this world, that we know they are safe, and we know they are loved, and we know they can be their true selves, whichever family they happen to be born into. And so know that while we are out there working these elections, our Safe and Healthy Schools program has continued to push forward. We've now trained close to 6,000 principals and district leaders all across Florida. We continue to stand with the trans community. As you saw in that video, we can walk and chew gum at the same time when the president said that the Department of Health and Human Services would ban recognition of transgender people, we were immediately mobilized. This is what you can count on from Equality Florida. We're not just about headlines, we're about front lines. When you see something happen, when you see them come for our community, you can count on us to be there. And for me, the most emotional moment in my last year was at our statewide Safe Schools Summit, where we had a transgender panel of an elementary, middle, and high school student. And when the middle school student spoke, she shared her story, and it was an intimidating room, 185 district leaders, superintendents, board members. She sat on that stage holding her dad's hand, and she kept her face down, but her voice was clear, and she told us the story of how awful it was beginning in elementary school and how when she reached middle school, it became unbearable. And I can tell you one of the most stigmatizing things for her was not being able to simply use the bathroom that aligned with her gender identity. And earlier this year, she tried to take her own life. And she made it. And her director of student services was in that room with us and stood up and said, we will fight to implement policies faster. This is Sarasota County. Sarasota, where we won 2 school board races in the primary and preserved a 3 school board member majority. Sarasota, where on election day last Tuesday, they turned out a mob to demand that the school district rescind protections for transgender students and stop allowing this little girl and others to use the bathroom. But Equality Florida was in that room. Dee Palazzo was in that room. Our people were in that room. That superintendent, that school board stood strong. That's what you can count on from us in the days ahead. You stand with us. We will continue to stand strong for you and for everyone until every child is protected and loved and no one faces discrimination. Thank you.